Good day, folks, and welcome to review number 38. Well, I've finally done it. I have taken that leap off of the cliff into the chasm known as high-end toy collecting. Today we're going to take a look at the Hot Toys 1/6 scale War Machine Special Version. As usual, let's start off by looking at the packaging. War Machine comes packaged in a matte black cardboard box. Simple enough. But to add that special high-end touch, a glossy line art image has been added to simulate the panel lines on the front of War Machine's chest. The back side of the packaging is pretty similar to the front. The panel lines continue from the front of the box and obviously form the image of War Machine's backside. The only other standout on the back is the prominent display of the choking hazard warning in multiple languages. One thing I love about opening up collectible toys is when they come in this type of box that has that slide open top. You get that firm resistance from the vacuum pressure forming as you open it, followed by a satisfying whoomp as the air rushes in. Once the box is open, there is yet another insert before you actually get to the figure. This insert has a short paragraph giving a little bit of background to the character of Rhodey and War Machine. Hopefully, though, at this point you already know who the character is, since you've probably put down quite a bit of money for the figure. Opening up the insert reveals the War Machine figure in its inner plastic packaging. Now, one thing I want to point out about this plastic packaging is this is not the typical cheap stuff. This is a very solid plastic packaging that makes a lot of the Transformer toy packaging look very cheap. But moving on here, we have the figure. And it comes packaged with the two hands, two guns, and you have the chain gun visible here. So here we have the War Machine figure itself, and I have to say, this figure is absolutely fantastic. The sculpt is great, the colors are great, the paint job is great. This figure is just a real win in my book. Now, the color scheme is different than the movie-accurate version. The movie-accurate version is more of a drab gray and steel color. This has more of a dark gray and then a white and silver motif. But personally, I prefer the colors on this version because the colors tend to pop more. Now, one thing I didn't realize with this being my first Hot Toys is how big this thing is. So here is War Machine next to another War Machine. We've got Voyager class Megatron from the Prime RID line, and you can just see how massive this figure is compared to this tiny Voyager Megatron. So that just gives you a little bit of perspective of how big this figure actually is. Of course, you'd expect this figure to be very articulated. Of course, you have the multi-jointed shoulder, you've got an elbow, bicep swivel, ball-jointed wrist, you have a multi-jointed hip here, knee, the ankle joints here, the toe joint. It's just a very posable figure, which you would expect from a figure of this size. Of course, what really makes this figure stand out are the small details. Start off, you've got weathering here. You've got weathering around the collar here, on the shoulders, on the helmet. It's, little details like that that make it stand out. And it's not just the paint details either. If you look around on the backside, here's some examples of the sculpted details. They're just amazing. If you look at the actuator for the gun, you've got springs and actuators molded in here and painted. You've got some nice fine details in the gun belt. There's just a lot of molded detail along with the paint. It's not just sculpted and painted details that they went above and beyond on either. You have functional details too. On his left shoulder here, if I can get this open, you have the ex-wife. And then if you go over to his right shoulder, and you have to pull these little white pieces down, get your thumb underneath here, and then you can open them. But on this side, you have his missile pod, and it's little things like this that make it that much more special. Continuing on to his back here, you've got the flaps and thrusters that open up here on the back. So, and then if you go down to his legs, you have the flaps and thrusters down here, and they even included these little linkages in here too. Give it that nice little extra touch of detail. It's things like that that make this figure special. But probably one of my favorite details of this figure involves activating these little switches here on the back side. And this is what brings War Machine to life. The included LEDs. You've got LEDs for the eyes, you've got the red arc reactor going on here, you've got LEDs lighting up the repulsors in his hands. It just really brings the figure to life. Now, of course, you won't be able to have this lit up all the time. You'd be draining batteries like you wouldn't believe. But when you want to show off this figure, turning on these lights really makes this figure stand out. War Machine comes with 2 display stands. The first stand says Iron Man 2 on it, as well as War Machine Special Version down on the bottom. The second stand is a little bit different. It's got a switch here on the back, so it's got a neat little light effect there. The base itself is designed to look similar to the assembly gantry. Now, also with the stand, you get this taller post here and a little clip on here as well. You can use that for action poses or flying poses. As my first foray into the world of 1/6 scale figures, War Machine has definitely opened my eyes. Now, I own plenty of posable and collectible action figures. Just take a look at some of my SH Figuarts and Buso Shinki reviews. But there is something about the size and the extra details that take this figure to a new level. Of course, when you get into figures of this scale, the price tends to scale with it. While I would love to really get into collecting 1/6 scale figures, in particular the Hot Toys Avengers line, I just can't justify the cost. I'm a big Iron Man fan, and I've already pre-ordered the Mark 7, but I think that may be it for a while. Despite the prohibitive cost, I don't regret dipping my toes into the high-end waters, and War Machine will have a special spot in my collection for many years to come.